All right, it's 5:30. We're going to open the meeting to the Public Safety Facility Advisors Committee. And we have Craig currently on Zoom.
Ryan Flanders, present.
Dave Martindale, present.
And myself, Don Davis. So all the members are present, and Craig should be here momentarily when he gets here, but if we can stand up with pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have the minutes to approve from May 25th, 2025.
Sir?
I'm recusing myself from that. I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay.
I move that we approve the minutes of the meeting of May 25th.
I have
Well,
a,
it's June 25th, right?
Yes.
yes, June.
Okay.
So can we, I move that we modify,
It's every time it comes up, that May always sticks, but on the top it says June.
It's not me, it's
Yeah,
the company.
always.
over there.
Yeah. So
That's okay.
approved.
I just-
So we have approval for Dave for 6/25, even though it says May, we'll make that correction. It seems to always appear.
okay, my second?
Second from Ryan, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? So maybe we could, have a conversation, with the, public engagement, if, maybe start off with the chief, how do you think everything went?
So we've had multiple, as you guys know, we've had multiple community meetings and we've had multiple tours. Gabby, Becky, and I were present for the tours and the community meetings. I don't know if you guys saw, one gentleman that did a tour was so angry when he left, he wrote a pretty seething letter to the editor. It was published in the Berkshire Eagle. He was really upset by the conditions of the building. He then came to a meeting, as did a couple other people, because they were really angry. I would not be surprised if the select board doesn't get an earful coming up about why the conditions are the way they are. So I definitely feel like we have a lot of public support, which we all appreciate. So we seem to get more, like, we had some decent turnout at the community meetings. I think the senior center was the most populated one in the afternoon during the day. And then, we've done some on Saturdays, we've done some during the evening. People have been very supportive that have come, but it's how do we reach the people that aren't able to come or, so I think that's something, we did.
I think we have a couple options out there that we're gonna talk about tonight on how to,
Yeah, so we, one of the things that the three of us found out about was a program the post office does.
Yep.
I'll let Becky, kind of give the update on that because I was not able to make this meeting today, she did. But the post office offers a service that we can put the information out in a mailing to the entire town, and I believe it was like $700 without graphics. So, and that's for the entire town, the mailing with whatever information we would want to put on would cost a little bit more.
So their cost to send something to every residence in Dalton is just under $700. That does not include the flyer. I did reach out to one of their vendors that they recommended that they deal with all the time, because there's specific items that have to be on the mailers, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So I was hoping to hear back from them today. I tried calling and then left a couple messages. I sent an email, but I'll probably hear back from them hopefully tomorrow or early next week on a rough prices of what it would cost to send something. I also, once I speak with them, I was gonna talk to one of the local print shops and see if that's something they can do. But, so depending on what the flyer would cost us, it would be in addition to $700 for postage.
Okay, is it something that we could put our flyer that we created together and just put it in an envelope?
No, it's, you know how you get. the-
Postcard, though?
Like the flyer, the flip over, like, I just got one for Benson's. It's got something on the front, something on the back. They're usually 11 by 6.5.
And did you guys have a recommendation, what you think you wanted to put on there? Or-
We just met with them today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really know what we.
No, it's just something to think about.
Yeah. Kevin, got anything? for
Just a quick comment. I tried to get the town to pay for mailings during that survey, and I was told no. They did not have money to supply for mailings, so I just want to make sure if we were looking there, we have a way of paying for it.
Craig, just to touch base with you, I thought when we had that Arbor Fund money, I thought that was hopefully gonna cover some mailings and postage and meetings and some of that money.
If you remember, they denied that in the meeting. They allowed us to have money for fundraising or for funding sources for feasibility, but they did not allow us to keep any money for miscellaneous expenses.
Okay,
So we would just have to find a way around that.
all right. I think, Ryan, do you have anything you wanna put up, or you want me to give you some stats what I came up with right now?
So it's just some of the other responses that we got. They were looking for potentially a mailing list as we go and we make updates and we find out things. So something that people could sign up for from the town. They would get an email of something's changed, a new meeting notice, whatever it might be related to this subcommittee here.
So
So I think that was one idea that we might be able to.
could we keep this email list and the people that we got that are going
I
back
think
and forth with?
that's a perfect way to do it, and then we could have a new list at every meeting, and
Yep.
people can add to it, and, you know, if we want to, we could maybe even add it to a select board
Yep.
meeting. But I kind of like that idea. It seems like a very low-cost way to keep people informed, which I think
stays
is
right
everyone's
to-
benefit.
Stays right to the specific point.
Yep,
Dave, do you have anything?
No, sir.
No?
just one more.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Can you give us an indication of how many total people that you had engaged?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Do you,
I have it right here, I got all the totals and everything.
So I'm sorry, Dave, just before we get into that, one other item that they were looking for at the meetings was a cost-benefit analysis. So they're looking to try and understand of all the things that are getting added here, just a statement of why these things are being added, because people see things on there and they don't necessarily understand why we need to have it there. So if we could just have a little 1-2 sentence statement of why this is necessary. Why is the Sally Port necessary? It's not required by law. However, there's risks associated with not
Risk.
having one and getting,
Possible.
lawsuits or injuries.
Insurance savers.
To add to what Ryan said, as a committee, I am asking you guys to please use caution with your wordage, because people are under the impression there are certain things we have to have by law. The only thing we have to have by law are those cells. Everything else is best practice standards. So keep those words in mind, because when you're saying we are required, we're not required. Everything goes by standards and best practice, and that's why we have what we have, or need what we need. So, but by law, we have to have cells. So that's probably the only law that guides us on anything in a police station.
But do you have to have booking rooms?
We can't function without them, right? But the state doesn't have a law that says if you don't have a booking room, we're gonna shut you down. They do have a law that dictates that you have to have cells based on population.
Right, but booking rooms, evidence rooms, evidence
Everything on that
lockers.
list we need to have.
Right. So,
So I would say that if we just lists the reasons why it is a very good and obvious reason to some people why it would be there, it just helps to inform the population so that they don't go, well, I don't think we need that.
Right. One of the things that we've seen, and I don't mean to speak for us three, but I'll speak at least for what I've seen, is a lot of people have opinions because they're like, oh, I don't think you need that. But they have no background and no understanding, and they're like, well, I don't think you need a Sally port. Okay, well, this is why we need a Sally port. So to go with what you said, I think that's gonna be helpful to explain, because I think people don't know what they don't know, and that's okay. I mean, listen, I don't know everything about what a building needs, that's not something I know everything for. So I think that would be really helpful to try to
I think we should
explain that.
maybe send that to Brian Humes and have him put a definition along with the square footage of each one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think Brian Humes should have answered them questions, because when it comes from us, and we're being told we're building something to the minimum requirements,
Right.
and this is needed, right, whether it's required or not, this is where we got the information from, this is how we're passing it around. So if the guy who's putting it together wants to put per square footage, a definition of it,
And that's
what do you
one of
guys
the-
think, that it just takes us out of the picture?
Some of the questions we had last Saturday at the community meeting was, can dispatch be in a separate building? Not really sure what the benefits to that would be, because now you're looking at 2 sites, 2 buildings, 2 generators, I just don't know, it would be just absolutely astronomical in cost to do it that way. I don't know why we would do that, but that was a question that was asked, why we have to be in the same building, and I'm like, Gabby really did a great job explaining, well, for cost savings, and not to mention, there are frontline people, so when people come into the station for an officer, they're like a free double agent, if you will, because they're the first people that see, and they'll call the officers into the station. So otherwise, we would be going backwards if we didn't have dispatch in the building, if the town decided not to hire police officers to man a desk when people come in, then we go to what's called a dark station. We have traditionally forever been open 24/7. That would shut us down. That would mean someone would have to ring a doorbell, it would go wherever, and they would say, okay, I'll let an officer know. And we've had multiple occasions where people have run to the station for safety, because they were attacked with a road rage incident, domestic violence incident, where they've come in and run downstairs and they have the ability to lock the assailant out. So we don't want to go backwards as a community. We really don't want to go to the point where we're not manning a police station 24/7. So that's why it's important we keep the 2 agencies together.
And like you said, for cost reasons, it would seem silly to me because if you're gonna have jail cells, you have to have electric, so you're going to have 2 full-time generators at each spot. That's kind of redundant and silly, cost
Yeah.
of money, but it's also, and I said this at the meeting, you have so many community people that come into that station, even if it's not an emergency, to not have that ability
Right.
just doesn't seem like the best practice for your community.
Yeah, we'd be going backwards, not having someone manning our building.
So I think it would make sense to potentially send this to Brian Humes for a first cut, and then to send it to you guys to have another set of eyes review it, and then I think that would answer the question on hand of
I just think that would be.
why we need it, and this would be something we could add to the website,
Yep.
notify people via the mailing lists and flyers and
Yep.
things. Okay.
Can we put up some type of page that's just frequently asked questions and answers where we can post these things as they're being answered and sometimes being posed? Does that make sense? Any sense?
Where would we put it?
So I think the public safety subcommittee here, we've got a page going. We have a list of questions that we're trying to get answered. And those were going to be among the first things that we're going to put on that frequently asked questions. And so this could also go into that library of information that people can go and look and educate themselves on.
Craig, does that answer your question?
Yes.
So I think we're pretty much all in favor of keeping that, the websites and the emails list going there. I just want to touch base, I think we had 5 community engagement meetings and we had 3 or 4 tours? 2?
4 meetings.
For informational.
Yeah, and, so out of the turnout that we've had, everybody, we had about 40 people that, turned out for the community meetings. And then we've had about 11 people that actually took response on tours. So that's our number count. And then this is our feedback list from our surveys. And I think we had about 24 people that, gave us feedback, and we had 4 of them that had either fair or no options, and everybody else was good and excellent, the other 20 people. So that's the current feedback that we've had for the community engagement part.
Why do you think we had such a small turnout for the survey? Think it was too long or too hard to access? I'm just curious if we could get a bigger involvement
Well, we only
than
had,
24.
40 people show up.
Yeah, it was,
So some of those were couples, so out of that 40, let's call it 30 individuals, 24 responded, that's pretty good odds. If you want additional responses, maybe we could look at adding that to the mailer, if the mailer goes out, to try and see if we can get a larger sampling.
Yeah, to be honest, I was really hoping for a larger participation in the survey to get a better idea and help us advance this. If we had 200 people or 300 people submit, that would mean a lot more than 24, in my opinion.
so there was only,
I'm
just to follow up with that, there was only 6 couples that, there's 6 of the same addresses that, were written down that showed up. So, you know, potentially we had, 34 people, and the other 6 might have been a spouse at the same address, the total of 40 people.
That's not 28?
So my response to that is, and I could be way out there, but I think that, we've worked pretty hard on this thing for over a year now, and I think everybody's pretty much up to speed with it. From the first 6 months of us doing this, there's been a lot of back and forth on this. I think the town knows about it. In my opinion, might be way off, but I think our opinion is just waiting for our select board to actually move forward and doing something. I think everybody understands where, the public safety building is, where everybody's at, and a lot of people, was that accurate with that, pretty much?
Numbers are, but it doesn't sway anything
No,
that's going on.
but I think the weak turnout for the community responses, just because people already know about it.
So I would
It's
say
not
that,
something new.
go ahead, Craig.
Go ahead, Craig.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything, I'm sorry.
Oh, so
Just background noise.
here's what I would say. I think it's difficult to put this on the select board right now, because what are we putting on them? We don't have a site, we don't have a design, we don't have a potential cost. So we can't put anything on the select board. What are they gonna say? Yeah, we support you, give us the information. We as a group need to pick a site, get Brian here to give a design, and get a cost so our community can make an educated decision. Because until we do that, like right now what I'm seeing is everybody's going in different directions on this committee. I'm getting town hall renovation stuff. No, you guys are here to do a police building with dispatch. That's it. That is our charge, is a police and dispatch building, period. Anything else is out of what you're assigned to do, and it's distracting from what we're supposed to be doing. We need to pick a site soon, like get it done, and we've been working really hard with our town planner, the assessor's office. Jeff came, Becky was with me, Gabby was there in spirit because she was stuck in the box. We walked the property back here. We all agreed it was a pretty big piece of property. We are working diligently Craig's been in contact with Yanko, I've been talking to Yanko, he did the tour with us. Everybody agrees this piece of property right behind the senior center is pretty ideal for us. It doesn't cost the town anything to acquire it. I have asked very directly, what do we need to do to be able to utilize that property? Because if we can use it, whether it has to go to town vote, whether we need permits, whether we need zoning, whatever that process is, I cannot get someone to answer those questions. I have asked directly, Craig is on the email with me, I have asked incredibly directly for those answers.
Which, can I just?
Yes, please.
Doesn't that go back to the select board,
What?
the answers to them questions?
They're not gonna know that. That's up to our zoning board, our planning commission, like, that's gonna be all of, those people are gonna know what is, so I will tell you what I do know today. So we've been told all along that that is slotted into 6 residential areas, so that's what the town voted. It is not. This is one parcel. It has
Exactly.
never been divided up into residential property.
Correct.
Craig and I have been really working hard on getting that information. We asked, okay, so now I don't even know what we do with that information because we've always been told that's been voted on and divvied up into 6 properties. It is not. This is all one parcel.
So Deanna, all we have to do is ask the town to subdivide those parcels. I'm just not sure why they haven't done it.
So Craig,
Yeah.
just to touch base, the chief was saying, like, it's news to me about remodeling the town hall as police department. I mean, this committee has never been brought up in this committee in a meeting in front of me, so I don't know where that's come
Well,
from.
I
Hold on,
will-
hold on. In
May I
this meeting,
interject, please?
yeah, let me finish. In this meeting, this committee has never brought it up in a meeting together on remodeling the town hall. It was never part of it. As far as this goes, we knew way back when I'm finished, and we'll get to you, Dave. Tony is the one who gave us this plot plan with this building on it, and everybody knew way back then it was one parcel.
Right.
Our selectmen have told us that the parcel it was turned over for residential.
Right.
So,
But nobody can find that.
well, but that's what they said in our combination meetings, and that's what they said via one-to-one. So as far as us goes, that's why it was taken off, and this is what Tony had brought to us. And then, as far as the municipality building, Craig, I thought that municipality, it was already on site as a school, it could go here. And we have a senior center on the site. So, because it's a municipality building, I thought it was by right. So that's where we're at there. Dave, go ahead.
As I understand it, when we were talking about using this as our site for our police department, it always had to go through the zoning board of appeals, which would require a public hearing, and there would be, the people would either endorse it or oppose it at that zoning board of appeals. And I also understand, and I was at the town meeting, and the people were very adamant that they did not want a police station on this property. So I would counter that, should we choose to use this property for a police department, we need to go to the town, we need to sell it to the town and get the town's endorsement and backing, and then full steam ahead. But right now, the latest thing that's happened in the town was the town meeting, and it was voted down to use it as a municipal use.
And that's what we were told probably like 4 months ago, right? 3 months ago?
Right.
At the
From the-
town,
from-
at the town meeting.
That was over here. That, right.
As I understand it, if they were talking about this area, this site.
Right. This property has never been discussed.
Well, the problem is
It's
this
all one
property is
piece.
one
One and the same.
property.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I think to those neighbors, it's not. Because this is not in their face like that is.
That
It is in
needs
some of
to
them,
be
but
cleared
we-
with the town.
I agree with you, and I think if we are going to explore this property, then we need to invite the residents all around to come in and talk to us. You are talking a $1 to $3 million savings to use property the town owns. I will tell you, we have a lot of support for this project. The rest of the townspeople will probably outweigh the few, because neighbors from this neighborhood did come to these meetings, did support this building being here. So we got ambushed at that meeting. I will
yes.
call it what it is. It was a targeted ambush. So, and we know that. I think if we put it out again, I think people would probably outnumber the few that don't want it. It is our job as a committee to talk to these residents and say, again, tell us, would you support it over here? Would this be better suited? Would you agree to it here as opposed to on, First Street or Glennon? Would you agree to that?
So if we
And
go
we
back,
need to talk to them about
if
that.
we go back to like our third meeting, remember we're gonna have the police department drive by and put things, in their doors and notify all these neighbors and put a special meeting just for these neighbors? And I think we talked about that like our 4th month in, then we should probably do that.
Right.
And just follow through and not talk, we'll just do it and get it done. Go ahead, Craig.
So I haven't finished yet.
Sorry.
Please.
Oh, okay.
The topic of the town hall renovation, you said that it's never been brought up. It was on the list of questions that we gave the selectmen that needed to be answered. Should the town hall renovation and the police department renovation be the same project? That was on that list. So it has been brought up,
And it was
but
taken,
we haven't had an answer yet.
yeah, the answer was taken out by Brian Hume. It was unfeasible to do it then.
So our
I
building,
don't
Well,
think he ever said
Hold
that.
on for a second, let me just step back for a second. What I really think I'm hearing is we need more public engagement. We need to talk to this neighborhood, we need to share information that is vital that isn't being shared. So when people come to vote at a warrant meeting, all they hear is First Street. Everyone has a different idea of what First Street
I
means.
agree with you 100%.
So there needs to be some education before another vote in order for that information to get out there. And I just don't know the best way for it to make it to everyone and for people to see it and read it. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if another, I'm not saying months, but another few weeks of public engagement with the neighbors and talking with them? Just a thought.
But I think we, as a group, need to decide on a location and then talk to those neighbors. Because right now, people are questioning what are the other sites. It's time that we discuss that openly. If these people are truly interested in selling these sites to the town, we need to talk about it so everybody is aware. This is the potential cost, this is the location. Because right now, I don't feel like we're communicating with our public very well at all. We need to be honest with that. We need to talk to these potential owners that own this property, and we need to say, are you willing to sell to the town? What's the price? So people can make educated decisions. Like, people would want to know where these other sites are. I can't tell you how many times we got asked that question. And the answer is like, well, they're owned by private property. It's time. It's time to say yes or no. Do you want to sell to the town? What's your asking price? And then let people know that so people can understand. Because right now they don't. And I think if they say this spot A is going to cost $1.2 million on top of the cost to build the building, or spot B, you got to tear down a building and it's going to cost $2 million. We need to make that public at this point because we are spinning our wheels going nowhere quickly if we don't.
Okay. Chief, you good? Dave, go ahead. Because I got to follow up to
As,
Craig's.
as I understand it, in order for us to talk to somebody about selling us a piece of property, we have to put out an RFQ.
I don't
And
think we need
and
an
to do
official
that.
sale. I think it needs to be, had that conversation. Are you willing? Because this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna say, this is the asking price. I'm not saying we're gonna make an offer on the property. I'm saying we need to be going public so people know what those options are. Because maybe the community is gonna be like, hey, we're good to spend $1 million at this site. Maybe they will.
And it may be, but I think we would have to check with the property owners, because some property owners may not want to be involved
Agreed.
with.
We
with
need to do that.
Yeah,
Right.
and we should find out if they are interested, for sure.
Agreed.
But as far as pricing goes, I think that's something that we have to work with Terry on and be careful about how we
Yes.
I think,
negotiate, if you will.
I think since everybody's putting opinions and feelings out right now, and we keep jumping off, the
What are we on
agenda.
anyways at this?
Well, right now,
You brought up things that we haven't finished.
right now, we're on site, status, I guess, right? When we say site status is what we're talking about, and we're trying to figure out what the next step is, which is kind of the three questions that we're all sitting there. I understand that we're waiting on some emails back for some answers that we had. But, you know, my opinion, and Craig, I want to put this out to you to see if you can match up that. We already know roughly what size building we need. In my opinion, I would turn Brian loose on putting a design together with a budget number and leave the spot out for how much a site goes, because we have to give something back to the select board by December. But I agree with the chief in the sense we're spinning our wheels and we can't do nothing. We don't have a checkbook. We can't even get postage money, okay? It's ridiculous that we're still sitting here talking about the same stuff. And if the chief and everybody that comes down on the meetings, I've missed one meeting, but everybody says, how much is it? That's the answer they want to know? Well, guess what? I think it's time that Brian Humes put together a plan, okay? Put together a budget number, and that way we have something to give to everybody, and we can leave the site out of it. Because the site is gonna go to a plan, and we've already got 4 sites picked out, good, better, best.
I understand what you're saying, but the problem with that is every site has a different characteristic. Site expenses are different from site to site
No, no.
by great amounts of money, so.
I understand that, but just leaving the site out. But at least we have a building drawing, and then what site we would buy, get for free, and how much the site work costs could be determined after that, but at least it's got a number to go up to the public's down. Yeah, and I understand the building could possibly change according to the site. But at least we have a start, because we're going nowhere for the last 6 months. That's
Well-
my feeling, and my opinion.
The nowhere, unfortunately, is the fact that we have to get to a report and we have to give something to the select board that says, out of all this information, this is what we have, and this is what we can provide with what you've given us. What we need is this, and we can provide that in a very detailed list, so we can say, High Street is high on our list. We would like to subdivide that. We would like to look at that in further detail. But we don't necessarily have to spend the money yet to do it. We can simply put that out there. I mean,
Well, but I think
I
a
agree.
lot of our questions are still, correct me if I'm wrong, we've been asking the select board, and from the conversations tonight, we're getting a different story back that what's actually real, because this site is supposed to be 3 different lots, as we knew back 4 months into this thing. It's one big lot that was a municipality lot. They tore the school down, they built this building here, it's still one lot. We were told there was gonna be 5 houses, it was voted on, it was approved,
There's no record of it.
and there's supposedly no record of it that we're hearing today. So all I'm saying is we've done all the work, we had all the stuff done, and all the answers that everybody's waiting to hear from can't come from this committee. It has to come from our select board, and that's why I keep going back to the select
Well, I
board.
don't know
Let
that
me
it comes
just,
from the select board though. That's not.
well,
their
the select
purview.
board is they're the people in charge of the town, because if this has never been separated, nobody can separate it but them guys.
Well, I think it would be probably the zoning board of appeals.
We
right?
would still have to go through
It
town.
has to be driven by some.
Select board would want to probably weigh in, but I don't think it's their, their responsibility
Right.
to actually do that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good question about actually breaking these parcels up.
Right.
That this should be a parcel, that should be a parcel, and wherever you draw the line back here and back to High Street is a third parcel. I'm not sure how you subdivide, if you buy, like if we own this piece of land as a private citizen, we could, go to the Board of Appeals and the assessors and, basically try to get the thing so, we have it surveyed and such and put down the markers and have it be done if we were private owners.
But the only way we can even move forward with that, Terry, is get you to bless it or the select board. Because there's nobody, no department head, and no committee.
I would say that I would say if they were dead set against it, that would be problematic.
Yeah, but the only way that we can move forward.
Yeah.
Is the town manager or the select board to approve subdividing this lot or doing something with it.
I mean, I would be glad to speak to them about this and see,
I'd be glad to speak to
check their
them, too.
temperature.
I would love to see the select board at this meeting.
Well, I think
Sit in the audience to hear what's going on.
as part of the report that we didn't talk about, we could certainly add certain items in there like we're talking about now. So we can add some information. We can massage what we're putting out, but I think we have a report almost. We have the information. It's been, funding report has been done by Ryan and Lisa. Dave and Tony worked on a property assessment report. I started an executive summary. I've taken all the bits and pieces and put it in together. The question is now, do we need to look at this as a committee and approve the document so that we could at least take the next step and bring it to the select board? Because I don't think we can, without having the report and some factual information to give to the select board, how are they going to give that to the town to make a decision? The town's going to have to vote on this, so the select board's going to need to be all over this. They're going to have to be supportive of it, they're going to have to know everything about it, and they're going to have to be a mouthpiece for the
I
project,
think the
right?
select board knows quite a bit what's going on, along with the community. I mean, we've had 2 combination meetings, they've talked to Brian Humes, they've seen the Brian study, right?
Mm-hmm.
They understand, they were here with the site survey, so the select board's fully on board. They're just waiting for what our determination.
What are they on board for? I'm not sure
Well,
that's.
they're on board of what we've done so far. And the only thing we have to do left is to give them our final recommendations, but we can't give them our final recommendations because we have no lot. They've given us, there's 30 pieces of property.
But Don,
30
we can give a conclusion. The conclusion is the site that we had picked as our primary site is no longer available. Option, continue to persuade the town to subdivide and create a space within this lot for a police department. Or provide us with another location that we can either purchase or
The town gave us 30 pieces of property to look at. We looked at all 30 of them.
So,
It was by the second meeting.
But we're talking about the 4 we're not talking about the
No,
bigger
no, I
property.
understand that,
Just
but
those 4 properties.
we've been through that. The town knew about this.
Town doesn't know about anything until we give it to them in a written form and we share
But
with
the
them.
select board was the one who told us to put it up on the warrant, that we couldn't do nothing with this property. And come to find out, which we knew from our 4th meeting, that Tony gave us this lot as one lot. We knew about it. They come back and tell us it's 5 different lots, approved for residential, and tonight we're hearing
What Tony had was correct, and there's no
it's
record.
still one lot. There's no record of what was said, even though the residents have said it.
I know, because I was there when they voted on it,
But
but the town never.
What does that have to do with this right now? I mean, other than we can subdivide and try to get the residential piece broken out.
Well, because all I'm saying is exclude the property. Let's move forward with a drawing, whatever, and
Yeah.
here's our 4 lots.
I'm
That's
not sure,
what I'm saying.
I just don't know how that's beneficial. We're going to have them put it on a square, perfect lot that we don't own and price it.
No, just price a building and site work and the property could be determined for later.
I think you already said that he's not comfortable doing that. He wants site, he wants to build the site, he doesn't want to make a make-believe.
So then,
Site.
do the 4 of us vote on the site and give it to the select board, and this is the site we choose?
I think Ryan had
No,
something
we're
to say, I
asking
don't
this a
want to.
question for everybody.
so we've come through some of this before with the conversations that we've had with the select board. They did not want to use a fictitious site. They wanted us to recommend a site. The path forward is getting murkier the more we keep talking. To me, we've got a report, we can submit the report as is. Doesn't necessarily mean our job is done. We can submit the report with the information we have today. We can then go forward and try and, if we deem that's the path we want to take, engage the folks that live directly around this property, have another meeting to discuss it, to see if their opinion has changed. If it hasn't, and we are absolutely against this, then perhaps we have a conversation with the select board about, do we start to take the anonymity away from the various sites and say, this is the site we're recommending now, and please build me a model that would look at that, and what would it mean? Because then you get the cost, which is, as I'm looking through this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe if I look at like the entirety of the contents for there, maybe a few more. Plus, we've heard it at the meetings, people want to know what the cost is going to be. The only way you're going to get the cost is if we have a site plan developed, whether that's the final one or not. We have to have something to go back with.
And the other thing is there's $3 to $4 million worth of grants that we're gonna end up probably closing a window on if we don't start acting soon. So I'm all in favor, as this committee was all in favor with before, of notifying all the abutters around the next 2 streets or both sides of each road around this property, and set a meeting up for them to come here to voice their opinions, whether it's yes, you're for, or no, you're not. Quick questionnaire, whatever, check, no, whatever, call it done. And then it'll at least give us our next step.
That is a meeting that Brian Hughes has to be at. Has to. Like, he's only been to a couple. He needs to come to one of those community meetings that we talked to them about this. Like, there is absolutely not a chance we should go forward without him present at one of those meetings.
Would
So it's-
present on Zoom be satisfactory in your mind?
Not especially, but. I mean,
It's not an issue with him coming out. He owes us time, so it's not an issue. It's just a matter of when and trying to just utilize his time the best we can.
So do people want to go down this?
Can I just
Sorry,
ask
go
a
ahead.
question? So, if I'm not mistaken, it took the senior center 3 times to be approved because the residents didn't want it.
Yeah.
We felt that it was put on the agenda, on the warrant, and voted prematurely with nobody getting any information.
Right.
I think it would benefit if we could set a date with Brian Hughes, this committee, maybe a select board member or 2, it would be nice if they came,
Gasp.
and set that time up. I will go out if I have to, and I will walk all these streets, and I will put flyers out that says, this is a meeting, please come and discuss your concerns.
And we can hope for that, and that's the problem, the will of the people, and will they show or will they not? But we can try, and we can give an opportunity to share more information, give them a
But I think it was
meeting.
voted down without the opportunity to have an open
And
discussion.
to go along with that, I requested it not be on that warrant, that we were not ready. And I was told, too bad.
It could also be a very different conversation if this was to be subdivided, and
100%.
that remained for residential use.
Jeff, I
This-
totally agree with that.
So part of the conclusion for this report would be, we would like to see this site subdivided and a portion of it allocated for the potential of a public safety.
What they do with this subdivision, that's not our stuff. If we're
But we
saying,
can-
hey, this site behind this building is perfect for us,
So,
would the residents come look at it, come talk to us about it?
Well, hold on for a second, let's back up for a second. We don't know if that site on High Street's perfect yet. We don't know anything,
No,
but
that's just, we have a lot of work to do to find that out.
But what we do know is that Brian's programming information, and I keep coming back to this, and it's a sticking point for me. Programming requires 2 acres of land. We haven't provided 2 acres of land.
With any of our sites.
Oh, I know they're on this, but Brian has put you on 2 acres of land because he says that's what you have,
so we only had one
not
site.
you have required, but you have asked to have.
We don't have it.
We only had one site that had that much. The thing is if we go on anything smaller than a 2 whatever acre parcel, we would probably have to look at going into 2-story. So,
Well, that's an assumption.
But this is all doable. So Brian Humes was saying that
Yeah.
2 acres is ideal, but he can work with less. It all depends on the site
He
and
can
what it
work
looks
with more.
like. So I think
so
it's worth a discussion with Mr. Humes to say, if that was made, is that an absolute non-starter, or is that something you could work with? you know, just a
So
simple,
Greg, how about this, Brian, Dave, how about this? How about we contact all these neighbors, right? And we'll set 2 meetings up. We'll put one during the daytime.
Well, I'm confused. I thought that was gonna be later. What,
No, I'm just talking right now. Contact all these neighbors right here and set up 2 meetings. One during the daytime here at the senior center, and one in the evening at the senior center on a Tuesday to Thursday, just to get everybody's opinion and have a conversation about splitting this site up. Okay? If they're for it or against it.
no, we can't have that discussion.
No, that's not our place. I think we should have Brian tell us if that site's a viable site.
Can I finish?
No.
Well, great, I'm gonna finish, thank you. You're out of line. But, so, but at least we could get the neighbors' opinions if they're for it or not. And I thought that was what we tried to do after our 4-month thing.
I just wanted to be careful that if you do that, be careful on how you roll that out, because people are gonna say, we voted no. What the hell are you doing? Leave me alone. Stop talking. So I just want to make sure that if we do this, we do it in a way that is respectful and meaningful if it's going to happen. So I would like not just to rush and have it happen next week or a week after, but what we would like Brian to do. I think we have a meeting with Brian and talk to Brian about what he should present and what he would like to show the community.
My finished statement side to that was, if everybody was, or the majority were for it, or the majority were against it, it would know to say, okay, we're gonna set a meeting up. At least we'd have contact information for all these people that would come to the meeting. We could set up a special meeting for all these people and whoever else would wanna come with Brian Humes, so it's not gonna be a waste of time with Brian and the residents, whoever else wanna come in here, to eliminate or to put a rough number of how big that parcel is and if this was subdivided.
So you're just talking about a meeting to discuss this parcel?
Yeah, I think that was pretty much.
I'm not sure why we would have, I know we want to talk about possibly using this parcel in the future, but when we're talking about what we're doing today, are we really pushing for another meeting for the High Street site in?
I think, again, I think that before we do anything else, we should have Brian at least look back there and say, is it viable? Because we don't want to rattle anybody's nerves and say, hey, we're still talking about this property if it's not even viable. We don't know until Brian looks at it. And if it's not viable, then we need to move on.
The only thing with the High Street site, I'm just going to speak from the conservation side, it's under our jurisdiction, so there's going to be an NOI required for that site, and it's close to the Walker Brook daylight, so I'm not sure where that goes, but that's just something we will have to consider
Yeah.
for that site.
A lot of other things too.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying, I know that because of the conservation part of it. So-
This whole parcel.
so I would recommend that we reach out to Brian Humes, that's step one. Step two is have the conversation with him, then figure out what the status is on this property. Then we need to reconvene and figure out what we want to do next and what we want to do.
So if we have Brian come in and we get a good community outreach and they show up, be prepared, and we should talk about this with Brian, that there may be questions or suggestions that may or may not be in our wheelhouse or something we want to consider. So when we open that up to the community and Brian comes out, he's going to hear those things. He may respond to them and he may alter his design based on that. And I just want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with that.
Brian's already came out in a meeting, I believe it was with the select board, and has already said to whoever was at the meeting along with us that a police municipality building doesn't hurt the residential environment. It might even improve it. But as the chief says, all her officers are already out in the street. This is just where it is. But if this is a 5-acre piece in the way it's laid out between the senior center and this, that definitely isn't big enough. And the building would definitely have to modify and change, and I don't think with all the conservation issues and all the 40 years of this Walker Brook and the 5 different reports, I don't think nobody's got the grasp of it yet. I just think that we need to put this thing to rest, come up with a site, and if you guys aren't happy with leaving a site purchase of the site, price out of it, I mean, all I see us doing is keep going down the road here, settling anything. Because I think we've already picked out our sites, I think we've done everything we gotta do. We just, the residents want numbers and maybe a drawing. I think we do that, and if something's gotta change, it's gonna cost more money, but right now, if we got $3 to $5 million worth of grants, or $2 to $3 million worth of grants, and we can start applying for them if we have an okay, if we lose the grants, you know? If you say a $10 million building, well, we almost have 30% of it. If you say a 15, you know what I mean? So I would rather just end this thing, is put a report together, get it over there, and let somebody start making some decisions. Because between the town manager and the select board are the only people that can make the decisions. I think we've got enough stuff ready to give to them.
But I think this committee still needs to sit down with Brian and talk to him about what you want to present to the community, what you want the message to be, what you want Brian to be able to elicit from the community. Because you may find that they have other ideas and they may want to bring them up. You know, Deanna, like you said, you don't want to talk about the town hall, but someone may decide they're going to bring that up, and Brian may want to talk about it, and that may take a whole other discussion. I just want to make sure we're all prepared for that.
I thought Brian was just waiting on it for us to tell him, pick one of the lots that he did, and he'll draw it. And
Well, he
give us
did
numbers.
before we lost the first site, and now.
Well,
if we're-
good, well, okay, but if we
So we
lost
could have him put them
if
on
we
the other
lost the
site.
first site and it's gone, let's go to site number 2 or site number 3.
Well,
Let's
site-
pick a site, and let's get it done,
Well, that has to be a vote.
okay?
I don't know, I'm ready to vote on
make-
the site.
Well, I make a motion on we pick, if number 1 site was gone, I make a motion we pick on number 2 or 3 sites and send Brian on his mission to draw a plan and give us a number. That's my motion.
So can we discuss this?
Well, first we gotta second it, then we can have a discussion. If nobody wants to second it, it's a dead motion, then we can start over with another one. But at least there's a motion on the table to move forward. Don't
I
second?
don't think anyone's willing to do that, no.
Okay.
I know that I'm not at this point.
No
I think
problem.
there's a couple
No second.
questions done.
Motion's dead, motion's dead, next.
So I don't think there's another motion. I think there may be just some discussion.
Well, then, if somebody wants to, but the
So-
motion's dead, so we move on.
Yep, so we're moving on. So what I would like to understand is if we go down the path of picking one of these alternate sites, do we have to get permission to share the exact location? Do we have to rip away the veil of anonymity again?
Yes,
Or-
we do.
So, you know, I just want to understand the repercussions from that.
The repercussions is if you have a marketable site that someone is willing to sell us and we advertise that it's $1.2 million, that creates a problem for that owner if they go to sell that in the future, that we're giving public information out about the value of a site or maybe the problems with a site.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want us to publicly out them about an easement. So we would have to go to them and say, listen, are you interested in pursuing this? It may mean that your name is introduced, your property may be advertised and people will know it, right?
So I would say I'm okay with picking a site, but I think we need to do that
So,
first.
well, but just to touch base with this now, there's 2 ways we could do it, and I think Terry could help us on it. We'd have to put a RFP out first, if we were doing that, right?
For what?
For the sites or.
Oh, no, we're just
proposal?
talking about doing a test fit right now. So we're talking about giving Brian
Right, but
a site.
we would have to have Terry put something out with the land.
No, not now.
Until somebody's interested in selling.
Okay, but we gotta figure out.
You're a long way from that. You've got to see if the site has any problems to figure out what the value is.
I don't think we're a long way with it. We've already have the site picked,
Yeah.
okay?
No, we don't.
We already have 4 sites picked out.
Well, remember-
One of them turned down.
But remember, Brian's site report
Right.
clearly stated that when he went down to the second site, and the second site is the one, I'm not going to say
Yeah,
the
right.
regular size site.
Right.
Said it wasn't perfect and it would take some challenges, but he wasn't sure until he actually did some work on it. But we can't do that unless we get
Until we
permission
notify
from the owners.
Right.
Right.
So, but where I was getting at is for us to put a conversation with the owners, it would have to come from the town manager to select board. We can't.
Well,
do
you
that.
have to first see if they want to sell.
Well, I think what we have here,
I mean-
we're doing a test fit, so Brian may come back and say, it doesn't work, or Deanna may say, oh, that's terrible, I don't like that.
Listen, if it's not the basement we're in currently, I'm good.
You might get a bat wing. That's what you might get. But if we can do that,
Oh, yeah.
then all we're doing is giving Brian some tangible site to work on, and he has something to say yes or no.
We also have that Unique Properties Act there of Massachusetts where,
Well, none of this fits unique yet.
well, I think it could.
Now,
We can
I think
chase,
it-
we can chase that a
I
little
think
bit.
it could. Tony's brought it out, and brought out several points that a unique property could do it. But once again, we have no authority at this committee.
that's why we have to be just careful about what we say publicly about these properties and what we don't say about these properties.
Do we need to make a motion to say, let's go and figure out if we can use site number 2 on the list?
If we wanna do,
And-
if we wanna do anything, we're gonna need a motion, and we'll need it to be seconded to do anything right now.
Can I ask a question?
And just one second, Dave, Greg, if we did pick out 4 sites,
Yeah.
and say if this were site number 1 and it was knocked out,
Yeah.
you still have all, the rest of the 3 sites that he went through with us.
No, you don't now. That's where it gets
Well-
confidential. I can't share this
No.
outright, but one of the sites is probably not available anymore.
Well, but understandably, I'm just talking about what this committee has gone through already to this day. We don't know if any of them are available anymore. We don't know anything about them because we've never followed up because we don't have the authority to. But we picked out 4 sites. First site is, we were told no. You still got the second site, the third site, the 4th site that Brian's looked at. And we should be able to say, hey, out of them 4 that the select board already knows about and we've talked about, we should be able to get something, was my opinion. So if one of the sites is gone, okay, whether that number 2 or number 4, or number 3, that gets moved off the list. There's still 2 more sites that may be potentially that Brian has looked at, right?
Who should be the person or the entity to have that conversation with the owner? I'm not sure it should be this committee.
The town manager or the select board.
That's what I'm kind of getting at.
No, no, and I,
But, you know.
A very
I wanna
loose
be careful
conversation.
about putting the cart before the horse here, because, you know, we don't, you know, we can't buy a piece of property, in my opinion, until, I hate to say it like this, but we have to have approval that we're gonna build something on that property, I feel. Because if we go and buy a piece of property and then we don't do anything.
I don't,
Well, I don't think we're talking about buying. I think what we're talking about is
You know,
a,
serious money.
Terry,
Well, Terry, what we're talking about-
buying, I thought just that Craig was saying that it would take somebody, the town manager, select board, to talk to, lot 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I'm talking about the informal conversation to talk with the owner and say,
Yeah.
can we publish this in
Okay.
an
To
article?
do it.
Can we
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, to do a test.
Are you willing to still sell the site? Those are the just big questions. We don't,
Right.
talking about value, but just,
Yeah, and the thing is
Yeah.
that's what we need to get going, but we have no authority on none of this stuff. It's either you or the select board.
well, I think,
That-
Terry, you could probably reach out.
Motion to-
Yeah, I
You can
could
make any
definitely-
motion you
I
want.
could reach
So
out.
I'd like to make a motion to have the town manager go and contact the owner of the second site to see if they're still interested and if they are okay with us.
What about?
Can I make that motion for second, third, and 4th site? To at least get everybody.
Well,
on
they're
the
not
board?
4 anymore, so there'll be there'll be 3 of them.
Okay.
Whatever 3 sites,
So whatever sites are available.
just
so-
to get into a test fit.
Oh, so do you want to amend the motion to say 3?
Sure. So I'd like to amend my motion to include sites 2, 3, and 4 as they are available.
I'll second that.
And that's to do a test fit.
Well, that's for Terry, just to reach out, talk to the
Right,
owners.
for Terry.
Reach out and see if they're still available and they're
Right.
willing to
Yeah.
become public.
So once they share that with us, we can make a decision on the next step on site.
Anybody want to take a discussion over it?
Is there any interest in still pursuing the idea of this back lot here?
Yeah.
So that's going to become a second motion.
Is that, Is that first or second?
Well,
So
I
the
mean,
motion on the
down
table
to-
is the other sites 2, 3, and 4.
Giving you authority to reach out and just speak
Okay.
with them. And then the,
And then once we get that information back, we can make.
All in
a
favor?
decision.
And what is the communication with these landowners gonna encompass? We're gonna say, we want a test pit,
We
what's the approximate cost gonna be? Is that gonna be part of it?
No, that's a good question. I mean, the first question is, are you willing to sell?
are you willing to sell? Are you willing to have the property viewed in a public way and potentially show a building that we may put on that site? That would have to be okay with those three things.
Yeah.
If they were, then we could then start sharing this information and be more transparent. Right now, we're playing games with the names and the property
I don't
names.
think we're playing games, because we still don't know if anybody's gonna sell, who is it gonna sell or whatnot. We just picked what we thought would.
Motion's out.
Yeah, the motion's out, we're on debate discussion right now. Dave, you're good with your question?
Kinda.
Okay. Terry, are you good with the response that the three that Craig gave for the?
Yeah, but I mean, the first question is, are you still willing to sell?
Yeah.
You don't even have to go to 2 or 3.
Right.
Right, but at least we have the same three questions we can ask everybody.
So I'll give you the
Right,
property names.
So everybody's good with that?
Right.
Chief, do you want to add anything to that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? One abstain, three approved,
It passes.
passed.
Okay.
I'll move those to second motion.
Second motion coming up.
Oh, second motion.
So I think, Ryan, do you want to handle
So
it?
I would like to make a second motion. The motion is to go and approach Mr. Humes to see if it is even feasible to put a police safety facility on the High Street side of this parcel.
That would require spending some of the contract money that Humes already has available. You would just, as an administrator, have to give us the authority
Yeah,
to
if
spend
you,
that
if
money.
you, yeah, if you vote for it and the money is already available, appropriated, yeah.
Okay.
So just, before we
As
do
long
that
as it
real
doesn't
quick,
go over the amount.
should
No,
we,
it wouldn't go over.
should we contact our local zoning officer and whenever this is zoned, to see what minimum requirements lots are supposed to be in this zone? Or can we have Terry look into, find a definite answer if these five
Why
lots
don't
are?
you make the motion to, explore it, and then,
Well,
a motion to explore it includes maybe doing a little preliminary work before you call Mr. Hughes.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, to see if this, because we've been told three different things
Right.
about this lot, but
Right,
if
and
Terry.
one of them which you can't forget is that the town meeting did vote to never use, and I think they meant the whole damn thing.
Well, but that's what I was gonna say, if you could,
That's as I understand it.
that's, I think we all understood it.
Yes.
But if you could try to really look into that and get a definite answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was ever thinking originally about behind here. They were all thinking over here.
Right.
So it's a valid question to see if perhaps, we can kind of rethink the whole idea.
I would
You have to look at the
of this lot.
language that was actually in.
I would like to take
Because it
the,
was,
back and look
it was
at it.
to.
the town's opinion of it out.
Yeah.
I just want to know, is it even
That
technically
allows-
feasible? And then
That's
we
what-
can approach the
That's what I'm
townspeople
saying.
to ask
If
them.
they said that 3 acre,
They didn't want
quote
that.
unquote,
So I don't
five,
know why.
five parcel lot out front, they said that was supposed to go to, residential.
Right.
And if this is 1 acre here, then there's only 1 acre of space behind us, if the zoning is gonna allow it with the minimum setbacks.
Well,
But those are follow-on questions and problems.
But I think that question could be answered by our local building inspector, the zoning, the conservation. Everybody could take 2 seconds of,
Well,
What Brian can do,
conservation, that is tricky with Walker Brook there, that's.
oh, it's in our jurisdiction. That site would have some involvement with Comcast.
Oh, absolutely.
But-
Don't forget, let's not forget. It's funny, I just happened to be in the library today with the big Dalton News Record, old books they have. and I have it open up, and it was 1980, about when Nessicus got totally flooded out.
Yep.
That could happen again.
Well, there's reports from
This
84
time-
to
Well, hold on,
2020.
don't we have,
State
do we have
was gonna
a,
be
we have a motion out,
the
right?
first
We do.
place.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're discussing that motion. So
So the second motion was this lot. And that's what
was
Yeah.
to look at the High Street side for available building space.
And that to me encompasses, first of all, just seeing if it's even possible. And if we find out it's possible via, the building inspector and the zoning guy and, whoever else, then you can call up Mr. Hughes. I wouldn't call him up until you know
That's
that
fine.
it's possible.
So.
Well, I think we would start with, he would give us an area estimate of the
All
available
right, if you think
space.
so. But, it'd be a kind of waste of money if then we turn around and say, okay, can we do it on this site after Mr. Humes may have said, yeah, I can put a building on there, I don't know if you charge us for that.
Greg, I think if you.
And then they say, no, sorry. you
Well,
guys
this
can't
is,
do
I
it."
think it's very small money. We're talking about a few
Okay.
$100s to have Brian say the available parcel to the side of the senior center is 1.2 or whatever the acreage is,
I'm
and
just
he'll
saying,
give us
I
that
mean,
information.
I can start off by, feeling people out, like the select board and all, if they're cool with the idea of, pursuing that lot, meaning breaking it and
I
stuff.
just think that if we just zoomed it up, and I think we've broken this up in the past before, that's barely an acre back there.
Yeah,
So-
it's hard to tell, but it's hard, but it's.
It is, but if you encompass the parking lot, because Brian has made mention that we could do something with the parking, utilize some of the parking here and there, but if that was 3 acres and this was 2 acres between these two parcels, and even if you shrunk this down to an acre or added it to it,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be pretty difficult. So I think a quick overview of the map, on one of the maps, you could get a gist of it, but I think an acre is gonna be too small. But if we could make that motion, or.
Well, an
we
acre
could-
will be too small because you need 55 parking spaces.
Well,
So
right.
that in itself
Well, I
blows
understand
that.
But I think if you measure that out, you're gonna be, before conservation.
Yeah.
Before setbacks.
Let's have Brian give us what the usable area is for that space. And we can do that in a motion, and based on that, we can make a decision if we want him to do a test.
So.
If he says, no, the site won't work, it's too small, it's too irregular, then we can move on.
Yeah.
Back to Ryan's test,
Right.
or motion was to see what Terry could do about this site. Right, Ryan?
Well,
So the motion was to approach Mr. Humes to understand if he would be able to even fit a building there.
Yeah, it
And
was,
so, as I understood it, Terry, you were looking to potentially amend that to say you were going to check the
I'm
zoning.
not on the committee, so I'm
No,
not. on the
I
committee.
understand, but that's
But
what
what
you.
I'm kind of saying is, it's also worth feeling out, if the select board would support the idea of, carving this property all up, including, cutting
Please,
back
yeah.
there somewhere.
absolutely, please put that in the.
Well,
motion.
if the town was willing to subdivide and try to sell off those residential lots, that would help fuel the price to
Yeah,
pay
again,
for the site.
I don't, there's never really nailed down
Brian had
what
that
they're
in
doing.
motion.
Well, we
I've
should.
heard talk that they are.
Hold on, Terry, we're gonna get this motion going,
Finish
okay?
that up, would you?
Yeah,
I gotta
so-
go.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
So I would like to amend my motion to say that we would like Mr. Humes to look at that lot. In addition, I would like Terry to pursue conversations with the zoning and with the
Select board and everybody else.
environmental
Everybody.
impacts and the select board,
Yep,
right, to understand the impacts to that lot, and then report back to the committee as to.
I second the motion.
Discussion, please.
Yep.
So the question to Mr. Hume will be a yes or no question. Will it fit? Can we make it work or not? How much effort are we asking him to
I
do?
want to go, no.
Yes or no?
Yep.
Please amend the motion to reflect a yes or no response being requested.
Is it yes or no, or should he do a score?
No, it's not, at this point in time,
I'm looking
let
for
him-
just a
Hey,
simplistic.
Craig,
he's gonna give you his opinion based on his experience, and that's what we're
Look at
looking
it
for.
rather
Craig.
quickly, in my opinion.
you would probably dictate this information to Brian, what we just talked about.
Okay.
And could you just have it a yes or no, like Dave's asking? Could you just put it out there?
Well, I think that's what we're asking. We're asking for a response from Brian Humes. Does this site support the
The
public
facility.
safety building as we've programmed?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Is that good enough for you, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
I want to make a motion to adjourn.
1 second, I'll see if that, any items anticipated? 48 hours, I think that we had a bunch of them, no? No. Good. Now, Craig, what were you saying?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Can we propose a date for the next one, sir?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I just want to go on vacation, that's all. It's a relief.
Truth be told,
3 weeks?
Anytime after the 22nd of September is good for me.
How about we work maybe the first week of October?
So, do we need to do anything in between there that would want
We
us to
need
be?
answers to all these questions.
That was my question. What are we doing in between now and then? Do we have any homework?
We need the answers
To
to all
get
the
these two
questions.
motions resolved and then get the questions answered.
I would like to say for our next meeting, I would like to talk about the outstanding questions and how we're going to answer those for the community. So those 22 questions that came out between the select board, we have to still give a response.
That would be the primary,
Didn't we give a response, Brian?
So, just to quickly fill you in, we took those questions, we distilled them down to, I'll say, a dozen actual questions, because there's a lot of repetition in
Sure.
that list.
That were in the survey.
And then we identified different people, whether it was a town manager, a select board member, coming from the subcommittee, what the responses were, and we were going to send those out to folks.
We
to
haven't
answer.
heard back from
But-
anybody.
There's maybe something that happened along the way where either we didn't send them out or we haven't heard back. So we'll take status on those to get an understanding of that.
But them were the questions that got rooted months ago.
But at some point, what I want to be able to do is take that document and share it with whomever in a larger
Becky,
form.
between Becky, do
Some of the questions are probably for Brian.
you think
Yeah,
that
something
Brian,
to work for.
you, me, and Becky could get together, or at least try to figure out the questions, and if we ever did get an email to the right people?
So let's talk, yes is the answer to
Okay,
that. but
thank you.
we'll
I have
talk
one,
about
I
it
have
in a
one more
second.
motion.
Oh, no.
Yeah, come on, let me get it. Come on.
October, Becky, first
Can-
week in October, anybody have a problem with that?
I do not.
FYI, I don't want to go down this road too far. Let me just state that my contract expires October 3rd at the moment.
Okay.
All right, so
Can we
Terry,
back this up?
have all that information by September 6th. No,
Can we back it up to the last week of September?
sure, I'll try to
Just
be
give us
here. Yep, give me the date for Becky to see if we can get here.
So can we do Thursday, the 25th?
September 25th.
when you coming back, Craig?
So the 22nd.
22nd, yeah, I have
I
to.
might not be
yeah.
here.
I'm good.
I'll try to zoom in.
So that's the 25th, we do it for 5:30 if it's,
Yeah.
senior center's available?
You okay with that?
Yeah, I don't care, yep.
Becky, do you know if it's available?
No, I'm just looking right now.
Thanks. But I do want, to make a motion that we allow Brian to answer the questions you've identified out of those questions that he should answer. Let me share those with him too. So he'll give us the answer to the High Street and he'll give us an answer to his question.
I think we're gonna try to get this resolved of the questions and who's got them, because we did go over that list that you gave us. There was some redundant, some we included in the surveys, and some we had special notes to tag to give to the people who could answer the questions.
Okay.
Because in that sheet, there, it's all marked down, and I thought we were waiting for responses that we still haven't gotten yet.
So if we have any that are identified to go to Brian, just let me know. Because while I'm talking to him about this other thing, I'll just bring that
We'll
up.
do that, but we will follow through with the exact questions and who should be answering it.
Okay,
So you'll have that list back to you, because we did take our time and go over that, Ryan, myself, and Becky. So,
And you're adding to the list as you're getting these questions from your informational sessions? Or,
we're not adding anything else to the list yet, we're just compiling the information that we've gotten.
okay.
We wanted to take the previous list that we had, because we could kick this can down the street for another year and waste a lot of time.
I just want to make sure that there's more questions that are coming out in these informational sessions, that they get added to that list so
Yeah.
that they're not.
Yeah, if they didn't get answered,
Okay,
yeah.
so,
And then Terry was gonna have this back, and Becky, we were okay with September?
Yes, September 25th is open.
September 25th was good, and Terry
Oh,
was,
in the
That's
morning.
fine with me.
Terry was good with that. Terry, see if you can bring some of your friends, all right?
There you go.
And you'll have all that information.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Rock, right?
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.